Hey everyone, one thing that I really like to do is go over to Etsy and look for different design styles. So in this video, I got 5 design styles that I want to show you that are super popular right now on Etsy in Q1 of 2026. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to share with you those 5, as well as what are some of the things that these 5 have, the characteristics. I'm going to go to Etsy and also show you that these are selling with ProfitTree to show you that these are actually popular. People are buying these. And I'm going to show you a prompt that I wrote for each one of these so you can have those as well. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when I use it in Kittl. So lots to see in this video. So without any further ado, let's start with style number 1. So style number 1 is vintage field guide style. It's what I'm calling it anyway, and these are some examples of it. Some of the key characteristics of this one is usually one color vintage style illustrations. You can see right there. Usually about 11 to 15 objects or animals. It's usually animals. Another characteristic is it's not aligned or in a perfect grid, kind of a loose layout. The header is optional. Some of them don't have a title. Each object is labeled, so that's one of the characteristics is the name of the thing. So in this case, a moose or a squirrel or whatever. And then it looks like a field guide and a tall rectangle shape. So it kind of fills that tall rectangle shape on the t-shirt. All right, so real quick, I'm here on Etsy and I wanted to show you with ProfitTree that these are selling. I'm using the Etsy radar part of ProfitTree. Now, if you don't have ProfitTree, you can get it for only $67. I'll put a link in the description, but it has this as well as other things. But you can see this, and if we go to like Etsy, let me go back here. If we go to Etsy and we just click on something, just to show you graphic t-shirt, for example, you come in here and it will pull up. You can also see like this right here, real quick what it's doing. So you can, when you click into it, for example, and I'm going to go back to the one that I had with the fish here, you will see also up here it will pop in Etsy radar. You see that? So that's telling you how much this sold. This one sold 9 sales, total revenue 8K over all its sales. It's only been listed for 11 months, so it's super popular, not even a year old, and it still has some kind of, I don't know if that's writing, maybe that's not what the fish are, but you could easily put the name of, I think that's just a style. Okay, well, maybe I got that one wrong. This one right here, it definitely is the words of what it is right here. And 4 months, sales, 2,000, this one's about a year old, so that one's definitely selling. A different color, has that title. Here's another one, Animals of the World, definitely has the words over there. 9K revenue in about 2 years. Here's an owl one, in 2 years it made 20K. Look at that, so cool. The names there. And there's the other one as my example, North American Wildlife again, about a year old, 9K. You can see it works. Not all of these sell, but these are some really of the best sellers in this category, and I'm seeing a lot of these. So it is a style that works. So I went to Kittl, and I did this with dogs here, and I'm going to show you the prompt. So this is the prompt I used right here, and of course you can change out dogs for anything, but I'm going to copy and paste it in here and show you how it works. So copy, I'm put it in here. This is where Kittl's AI is. Now you could pick a style here, and I believe I went with gritty halftone in the clip art. I could have done this intensity. I would say we're looking for like a halftone, not halftone, black and white kind of etchy. Like this one could work. That one could work. It's kind of a halftone thing. Vector ones probably work the best. There's that vintage drawing one. Here's the vector art. Where's that gritty halftone that I used? Can't remember. It's in here somewhere. Let's just use this vintage drawing one and see what happens. And then I'm going to hit generate. And it's going to, I did 2. I probably should have done more. And let's see what it looks like. It may take a little while, but I think this prompt works pretty well. I'll definitely have you do it here. Oh, this is not a good one. You know what? Sometimes that works. Sometimes the style messes it up. So let's try no style. I already have kind of what it is. So I'm going to hit generate and see. This one is using, you can check on here, it used that gritty halftone style, ChatGPT 1.5. So it does work. This one didn't quite do the white outline. So you're going to have to play, but it does have the dogs in a different style. So let's see if I can find where the gritty halftone one is. So I'm going to style. Oh, there it is. It's this bear. Okay, boom, generate. Let's see. It should do pretty much the same thing as that one. So not all the styles work on here. Use the gritty halftone. I think it actually works if you do it in ChatGPT or ideogram. But this is a cool one. Of course, I did dogs. I could do cats. I could do mushrooms. I could do owls like we saw, or different types of animals instead of just one type of animal. But let's see if the gritty halftone works again in here. And don't want it to go too long, so I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Yeah, there it is. It's done. A little bit different than the top one here, but I think this one turns out the kind of really cool types of dogs. Right there, did it really well. This is a different types of dogs, really neat, right? So you could put more. I think did I say how many dogs? I think one of the things I should have done is put how many vintage. Yeah, I just said types of dogs. I would say, like I said in the beginning, maybe 10 to 15 of them. This one only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, right? 6 and 2, and this one has 10. So definitely fun one to try. So the second style I want to show you is the 4 brush stroke style. Let's take a look at it here. These are some examples. And here are the key characteristics of them. 4 vertical panels that look like brush strokes. That's very important. Usually a continuous scene across all panels, although I have seen sometimes a different scene in each panel. Usually a watercolored landscape artwork. You can see that here with flowers, and text can be below, can be on top, or below and on top, and I'll show you some examples from Etsy. Alright, so real quick on Etsy, now that you know how Radar or ProfitTree with Etsy Radar works, you can see this one is making some sales, less than a year old, already has over $500 worth of sales. Here's another one, same kind of style with the on the top, the text on the top. 11 months old, not quite a year old, over $3,000 in total revenue. This one right here, not even a year old, 10 months old, 33,000 in revenue. Check that out. And that's that style with the text on the bottom. And right here, 2K, not even a year old. Same thing, no text, and it works. So you could do this in Affinity Designer. I may have to make a tutorial on how to do this, where you make the boxes first and then you fill in the design. You could just make the graphic or find a graphic. You don't have to use AI. If you found a watercolor graphic like on Canva or Creative Fabrica, then you could mask it with these and then of course put the text underneath. I'm going to show you how to do it with AI if you choose to do that. So I'm going to go to Kittle here. You can see I did kind of the same thing. The only thing with AI, sometimes it doesn't line it up, or sometimes it doesn't give you the right edges. This one I used, you can see the prompt right here, and then I use Google Imagen 4, so we'll try and do that. So real big here, I'm going to put the prompt that I use, so you can copy that. You can pause the video and type that all out. I'm going to copy and paste it. I have it over here. Now you can change out the words on here for wildflowers on top of a mountain. Make your picture whatever you want in there. So it could be a beach scene. It doesn't have to be flowers on a mountain. And I'm gonna take this one off, delete, and post you can see right here. And I'm not going to use that style. I'm going to try and use the same Google Imagen file. Let me see, or style. Let me see if I can find it. Well, I can't seem to find this, so I'm just going to pick a watercolor style that I like here. I think it was this one. Let's just do this flux and see what happens, and I'll hit generate. So it may not turn out to look like this, but we'll test out this prompt. You can test it out as well with different styles. Try it out on your favorite AI app here, but let's see how this this prompt works out. kind of cool. It didn't quite get the edges right on this one. It has the nice picture on here, but like I said, that's why I think it would be better for you to create the lines, the 4 boxes, and then put in the mask. Sometimes the prompt doesn't work, sometimes it does, depending on the style. Let me try maybe without the style at all and see what happens. Sometimes that works better, and not picking a style and having the prompt kind of tell you what the style is. But yeah, you could use, I think Kiddo might have these kinds of lines, these graphic lines. If not, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to make it in Affinity. You can see the prompt doesn't really work that well in here. Sorry about that. So try it out for yourself. I'll just leave it there and see. It did work here. You can see maybe the style was a little bit different. Maybe this prompt is a little different, but I used the Google Imagen 4 and it turned out pretty good. I think you could still use it there. The third style, popular style, is this vintage woodcut style. Here are some examples that I found on Etsy. And these are the characteristics. Usually a single color artwork, in this case dark blue. It's a woodcut or lino cut style with carved textures in it. No words, just the graphic. Takes up that tall rectangle space. Usually there's a rectangle around it, but it's not required. I've seen some without the rectangle on it. And it fills up most of the space on the t-shirt, that tall rectangle space. All right, back on Etsy real quick to show you some examples. Look at this one, about a year old, 22K. That's exactly what we're talking about there. Here's one with a black version, wizard, about a year old, 4K in revenue. Here's another one, different wizards, only 6 months, but 5K in revenue. And lastly here, different color on a darker t-shirt. I'm sure there's some other ones here, only 3 months old and almost 1,000 in revenue. So it shows that it was selling before and it's still selling now. Some of these new ones are actually getting some sales. So let me show you, and again, this was a ProfitTree with Etsy Radar. Let me show you in Kiddo the prompt. So this is the prompt that I'm using right here, so you can see it. You can see I used it here. You can see the prompt details, and I use Flux Context Pro. We'll see if I can find that one. I don't know why I couldn't find the other one last time. So I'm going to come in here, get rid of all of this here, select all, delete, post my new one. Style, what was it? I believe it was a vector. Here we go, it's the lion one in vector. If you scroll down, we're going to use that one and see if it gives us a good one this time. Of course, you can do a knight on a cat or some flowers. Maybe I should have done some flowers instead, just so we can have some variety here. You can always switch it out. It doesn't have to be a knight on a cat or a snail or any medieval thing at all. Let's try it. Maybe it's trying to do that with the knight. Let me come in here, show you how easy it is. I'll find the knight part here. Illustration of, instead of knight on a cat, some flowers. Some wild flowers. And that's it. That's what I'm changing instead. And let's see. Now you can be creative. I wouldn't do the exact same thing that I've seen other people do. You don't want to copy on here, and of course it's going to look different. You can see how these look different, and I would make it blue. There, this one has a rectangle around it. So I actually would do maybe just a woodcut and then do a rectangle by yourself and put it around. Sometimes the prompt doesn't do it. This one came out actually really good. This one's my favorite. So I like kind of those lines out there. I don't really like the edging, but whatever you want, I think these could do really well. No matter what it is. So we might have to play around with this a little bit, but pretty close, and then maybe change the color. Instead of black, do a dark blue or whatever color you want. The fourth style I'm calling Western etching style, and here are some examples. So here are some of the characteristics. First, it's a single color artwork. You can see right here, all the same color. This art style is a little more detailed. It has an etching art style. You can see it in the rocks there. There's no words, just a graphic. And it's usually a Western scene in the desert that tells a story, and the UFO is optional, although I've seen it so many times. Usually a clear sky and no clouds too, but I've also seen some with stars. and it fills up most of the space on the t-shirt. All right, here we are back on Etsy again, just to show you that these are selling. Again, not all of these are selling, but these are the top sellers that I found on these, or some of the top sellers. This one's already made 300 in revenue in the year. There's more. Here's another dog, 300 in 6 months. This one is not an animal, it's just a cowgirl, but you can see there's nothing in the sky here, kind of what we were talking about. 1K in 9 months. Here's a cat with a UFO, not even a year, and 3K, and this one in black, not in brown, but see, no clouds in the sky, UFO again, less than a year old, 5K in revenue. So I would actually stay away from dogs, even though the example that I'm going to show you has dogs here. There's tons of them with dogs. I would use a different animal, maybe something more popular, maybe a cowgirl, maybe a cat. So I'm going to try and do a cat. In this case, I used, here's the prompt. You can see the prompt right here. I'm going to leave the full prompt right here so you can see. Stop the video and copy it and type it out if you want. I used the Google Imagen 4 vintage drawing. I'm going to copy and paste my prompt. In this prompt, I'm using a cat instead of a dog. And then, let's see, get rid of that. Whoops. Get rid of that. Paste it here. Make sure I'm using the right style here. Let me see if I can find it. Vintage drawing Google Imagen 4. Yeah, it's this one. This is the tiger one under vector. So that's the one I'm using. And I'm going to hit generate and let's see what it comes out with. This time it should look very similar to this, but with a cat. I had the cat sitting in a chair using a cowboy hat. Get creative on this one. And then you may have to eraser out the clouds in the sky, or maybe I said with a clear sky, no clouds, but who knows. And there we go. There's one that's centered. I thought I took out that centered one, but it still tried to center it here. And then if you want no clouds in the sky, right, you can come in here. This cat in the chair. That's funny. You can hit erase, it's going to rasterize it, and then you can just kind of erase the clouds out here. Oh wait, it's thinking about it. Okay, and then I would erase the clouds out here so it's clearer and stuff. And then maybe you could even move stuff around and things. So that's a little better. I think this UFO is probably too big. Play around with it. I would definitely try some other things. Maybe move the cat over to the side. You could put that in the prompt, because a lot of them aren't, like, the thing's not centered in here. It's kind of like off to the center, so it's kind of an asymmetrical kind of design. All right, I saved the best for last, at least my favorite. This is animals in a row style. So here are the key characteristics of animals in a row style. Usually 4 to 6 animals in a row, just like you see here. Each animal is doing something different, a different pose or a different thing. Usually the same animal, but can work with different animals in a row. I'll show you some examples. And it's right across the chest area, so that's where you want to place it. And I would say make it funny or entertaining. That's kind of the idea behind this one. All right, last one on Etsy. You can see these are 5 cats in a row here. This one is under a year old and made 1K in revenue already. Here's geese here, I think, or ducks. Goose, yeah. Look at doing different things, medical related. 4K in 5 months. So really niche, this one. So smart to do it for a specific niche. Here's one where it's different animals, so you don't have to use the same animal. Different style too. This is a vintage illustration style. Less than a year old, 6K in revenue, right? Tackling the music niche and the... I think what it's cool is it's kind of mashing the two, like animal lovers and music and so on. Here's dancing rats, which kind of cool, but look, 7 months, only 13K. So pretty crazy. So lots of different ways to do this, different styles. You got the vintage illustration kind of style here, and then you got more cartoony ones here. I'm going to do a kawaii one, and look at how these turned out. They were so good. So I'm going to do one. Here is the prompt right here that you can use. This is my favorite one because it just turned out so cool. So when I click on this, you can see the prompt here that I used. I'm using the ChatGPT image 1.5 HD, the kawaii marker style. I'm gonna do it again, but maybe with, instead of 5 cute puppies, I'm gonna do, let's do geese and see what happened. Geese on here, and then I'm gonna copy and paste on here. Remove this one like that, and remove this style, paste in my prompt here, and then use the style, the kawaii marker right here, the very first it's featured, and let's see what happens. I think this is gonna turn out great. I love how this looks, just the style on it on a white background. Now, of course, you could do this yourself by just finding clip art or creating each one of these individually and kind of putting it on there yourself in a line. I think there's lots of ways to do it, or if you want to draw it yourself. And of course, you could do it in a vintage illustration style, like we saw with the rats and the other one. So you could do black and white, white on black, or full color like this. And I would say combine it, like mash it up like the one we saw with medical or something. A summer, I'm doing summer here because summer's coming. And check out, that's amazing. Now you could, I just set it to randomly put summer, doing summer things, but you could specify in the prompt what you want each one to do. So you can see that's why these turned out different. And you could swap these, honestly. So if you want some of these, but you don't want the fishing one, and you want, let's see what's different, the watermelon one here, you could take this out and put the watermelon one in here, and it would be good. So that's a great way to use maybe 2 or 4 of them and kind of get it like that. So I think this one's my favorite. It's just the most fun. I think it comes out the best. I put some of the other ones out here so you can see this one actually turned out not too bad. Some of the other ones you may want to do it yourself without AI. Go and find some of these things, but try out the prompts. Hopefully they help you, and try out some of these fun ones. And of course you can look on Etsy and use ProfitTree and go find other styles that are really popular, because you can see how much they've sold. So there you go. Those are the 5 styles that I wanted to share in this video. Let me know in the comments what you think of these styles. Have you seen them before? Which ones do you want to try out? I've done another video a while ago, and this one right here about 9 months ago, with 5 other styles that are still popular right now on Etsy. So you can go back and watch that video and get some other ideas. I think I've also shared some prompts or something on there so you can learn how to build them. Thanks again for watching, and as always, keep creating and keep learning. I'll see you on the next one.